This conference will now be recorded.
So last class, if I remember, we were talking about, right, action override, right? I believe I gave you, right, a definition. I mean, not to write, but at least to explain what is an action override. A quick recap, right? Action override is nothing but whenever you want parent to control immediate child, parent to control immediate child, we go with a concept called as action override. In action override, right, the behavior is passed directly from parent to the immediate child. Whereas this is exactly the opposite that happens in an event, whether it's a component event, whether it's an application event, right? Let it be any type of event. In event, right, always the propagation of behavior is from lower to higher. Whether it's a component event, if you can see that in the diagram, if a button is clicked on C11, immediately C11 can receive, C1 can receive, A1 can receive in the first diagram, component event, from down to up. Now, let's take an application event. Here also, let's assume that a button is clicked on C11, right? Here, whenever a button is clicked on C11, the behavior first goes to the lowest level. That means it'll go to the purple, right? It'll go to the purple. Then it'll go to the orange, C1111. Then it'll come to C111, right? So you can see that the flow or the propagation is always from the lowest to the top. Whenever you want to pass from top to down, we use action override. Action override propagation is exactly opposite of event, right? Exactly opposite of event, right? Now take a notes, put a heading called as action override and start writing. First take the note, right? Write down action override, right? Controlling of a child, controlling of a child, bracket immediate, controlling of a child component by a parent, controlling of a child component by a parent is called action override. Is called action override. Is called action override. So what is an action override? Controlling of a child, bracket immediate, by a parent is called action override. Right? Now, write down the properties of action override. Number one. Next, properties of action override. Number one. Number one, propagation of behavior. Propagation of behavior. Propagation of behavior is propagation of behavior is from parent to child, bracket inheritance. Propagation of behavior is from parent to child, bracket inheritance. Bracket inheritance. Next. A parent controller, second point, a parent controller controls the child. A parent controller controls the child controller. Next, a parent controller, next point, a parent controller can pass attributes or values to child controller. Same thing. In the event also, you can pass the behavior, you can pass the attribute. Here also, you can pass the behavior, you can pass the attribute. Parent controller can pass attribute or values to child controller. Right? Next, child controller must use aura method. Next point. Child controller must and should use aura method. Child controller must and should use aura method. Must and should use aura method. Now let's do this practically. Right? Here we go. So Rupam at the rate lt120.124.com, password crm1234, crm1234 hash. I log in. Close. Never. I click on setup. I click on developer console. My developer console is now opening. There we go. Now I close all the previous program that I have, which is now showing as dynamic component. So I close it. Now let's go ahead and do this. File, new, lightning component, lc underscore 2703 underscore example1 underscore right act ion action override action override underscore child action override underscore child. Now there we go. Now what we are going to do, we are going to go ahead and pass certain data from parent to child, and the child will display the data. In the parent, you will enter the data. You click the button on the parent, submit. Immediately, child will display the data. That's what we are going to do. So let me take some attribute. Aura attribute. Aura attribute. Name equals to, right? I will say C child EMP name. C child EMP name. Child employee name. Type equals to string. Now let me have a couple of attributes like this. 3 attributes. Name, phone, name, phone, date of birth, EMP, DOB. It is not a string, it is date, right? Date and time, right? Let's see, Control S on the keyboard, say, perfect. This is what we have. Now, whatever the data is entered, this has to be displayed, right? 1 minute, guys. I'm trying to just turn the AC to the other side. It's directly falling on me. Okay, This could be nice. At least. Okay, right. So lightning card, right? I'm taking a lightning card. Title equals to ACTI1 action OVR RID action override child to display. The work of child component is to display. Okay, so I'll say EMPLOY employee name. What is that? Exclamation V dot, whatever the name that is there in this attribute has to be displayed. After that, there is a paragraph tag. I want it to push to the next line, right? I want this employee name to be bold, so bold tag. I'll copy and paste this employee name inside the bold tag so that it displays bold. Like this, I have three attributes, so I will have three blocks. Employee phone, employee date of birth. Whatever is there in the phone that we want to display. Whatever is there in the date of birth that I want to display. Over. Now, from where this data is coming? This data will come from parent. Parent will control the child. This is what the whole aim or the intention or the concept is. To do this, if you read one of the point, child should always use aura method. Aura method. This is the child command. There we use register event, handler, right? Aura, right? Handler or aura register event. But here we use aura method. Aura method. In action override, the command is aura method. Name equals to, right? Name equals to, right? CMETHOD method ABC. I'm giving some name. CMETHOD method ABC. Something so that you'll understand C method. Whenever this method is called, then action equals to. Say I told you parent can control the child behavior equals to, right? Equals to exclamation V dot call me. Whenever somebody calls this method called C method ABC, immediately this action will be called. Call me. Call me. Inside this, right, I will have attributes. Let me copy this attributes, three attributes. By the way, whenever I click, my mouse is now making right click. I don't know how to solve this problem. Since a couple of days, I can see that I click and the mouse makes right click. See? So see, inside the method, I'm declaring three attributes. And I will say child, right, method attribute. Child method attribute. Child method EMP DOB. M stand for method. Child method. Child method. Right? These are the three attributes. Whenever somebody calls this, Control C, I go to the controller. I change the controller. Here we go. Call me is the controller. Call me is the controller. Now let's understand how to do this. First of all, you have to get the data from parent. You have to get the data from parent. Now let's do this first. I will write this controller later. Right? How to get the data from the parent we'll write later. Control S. Let's save it. Now I'm creating the parent. File. New. Lightning component. I will copy this name, by the way. Control C, Control C. It is parent, parent, parent. Right. There we go. Parent. By the way, you have to display the data. This will become parent when you call the child. So what is my, let me go ahead and let me call this child. Child is called. So it's a parent now. Right? Perfect. Till here, I believe everything is good. Anyone has any question till here? Whatever I'm doing? Yes, no,
Yes,
all good.
no,
Here, till here, everybody is able to understand, right? Hmm. Perfect. Now, what I'm going to do is that in the parent also, I will declare some attributes. Control C. I'm the parent, right? It's not C, it's P. 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 P employee name, parent employee name. Now, I will have a card because I need to enter the data. Lightning, card, title. Title equals to action, action override parent to capture data and pass to child. Now to capture data, I need to have a lightning input. LIGHTNING lightning INPUT input. Label equals to, right? EMPLOY employee name. Whatever you enter here, value, it has to go to exclamation V dot P employee name. Like this, you have to capture three data. Mode three data I'm capturing. Here we go. Employee phone, employee date of birth. Whatever you enter, it has to go to the EMP phone. Whatever you enter in date of birth, it has to go to the P employee date of birth. Three attributes. Perfect. As simple as that. Now you want a button. Lightning button. Label equals to submit. Label equals to submit. Right. On click equals to exclamation C dot sub me submit. Where is the submit? Copy this. I'm in the parent controller. Submit. Submit. Here is the submit. First of all, get the data. Var nm equals to component dot get. Component dot get. Get what? Get v dot. Whatever you have captured in PMP name, bring them and store in nm first. Like this, three data you have captured in your component. All the three I'm trying to bring in the controller. PH phone, right? Here, DB, DB, phone. What is attribute? PMP phone. There we go. Next, PEMP DOB, date of birth. You got it. Now, whenever you click the submit button, submit is called submit. This submit now has to call the child and pass the data. How to call the child? The child is in the component. Here it is, line number 17. You have to go ahead and declare an aura ID. AURA aura ID equals to CHLD. I'm giving a name. CHLD child You have to give an aura ID. Now, with this aura ID, I can call it in the controller. Now I'm going to the controller. Here, right? What I have to do? Var chldcmp child component equals to component dot find. Whenever you use aura ID, we use the find keyword. Find what? Find this. The name. I gave the aura ID. It finds. Once it finds, right, here is dot. What is the in the child component the method name? C method ABC. Child component dot method. Something like a class name dot method name. Here, pass the parameters. First parameter, second parameter, third parameter. First parameter. What is the first parameter? It's not hard coded. So directly first parameter, PM, sorry, name, comma, second parameter, phone, comma, third parameter, DB, something like, Apex program. Directly child name dot method name. And in the bracket, you're passing the parameter. You're passing the parameter. Over. Your parent side programming is over. You have declared the child in the component. You have given an aura ID. With that aura ID, you're calling that child in a parent controller, and then you're calling that child corresponding method, and you're passing the parameter. Can I use more than one aura method? Yes. In the child, you can use one more aura method like this. Control C. I can have one more aura method, and I can say in the place of A, B, C, E, F, G. You can control multiple aura methods. Call me too. You can have different set of data there, and you can similarly here in the parent, you can call this again. Control C. One more method you can call EFG. See, like this you can call multiple methods, guys. Multiple methods can be called. In one parent, you can call multiple child methods. It's possible. So now I say Control S. I go to the parent. There also I delete this. This is just for showing I showed you. Now, whenever this method is called from the parent and a data is passed, immediately call me will be called. Where is the call me? It's in the child controller, blank. How to read the data? Where now I'm in the child. Parent has called the method, pass the data. How the child controller will read the data is a question. Where PARAMS, you can give any name, equals to event dot get param. This is also event, you see that? In event also we use the same command, event dot get param. Here in the bracket, it's a keyword argument. Can I change it, Rupam? No. Arguments is a keyword. You cannot change this keyword. Like v dot values, you cannot change it. Here argument is a keyword. You can't change. Now, here we go. The data is read. Automatically, all the data that is passed from the parent is now stored in the child in the form of params. Right? Now I'll say var name is equals to where the data is stored. Params dot. In the param, here it is. C M name. That I will store in name. Next, var phn phone is equals to, by the way, we are taking all the three characters, equals to in params, the data will be stored. Dot. The second data will be passed to the second attribute. I'm reading one by one. Next, var dob is equals to params dot in the attribute c method dob. All the three data are read, are stored, whatever the data that has been passed from the parent is now being read and passed to the three variables. Now it is a time for me to send it to the attributes here. And that attribute is displayed at line number 13 to 17. So here we go. Control C, right? Component dot set. Set what? V dot CNAME, CMP name with NAM. Whatever I got it from the parent. Like this, I will do it for the next 2 times. Right? What is the next attribute? CPhone, CEMP phone. What is that? PHN. Next, right? CEMP DOB. Pass with DOB. Over. iPrint. Control S on the keyboard. In fact, here also Control S on the keyboard. Over, guys. Now I will create an application. File, new application. I call the parent. Control C. LA. Concept is action override. I click on submit. An app is created. I go ahead and call the parent. C colon. C is small. Here, extends. Force. SLDS. Over. Now you click on preview. See the output. Child is here. Action override. Child comp to display. Parent to capture and pass to the child. Employee name. Rupam. Employee phone. 88888. Employee date of birth. 17. Right? 11. 1984. I click on submit. 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 What happened? When I click submit, nothing is happening. This data has to go here. Immediately it has to display. Let's remove this state. Submit. Nothing is happening. Remove this phone. Submit. Nothing is happening. Did we make some mistake? Let's have a look from the starting. Right?
Sir, aura method lo v dot call me ane rastara c dot call me.
C dot call me algorithm. Actions are
This
always C. There we go. Action is always C. Attributes are only V. So there is the mistake. There we go. Now go ahead and refresh. Name. RUPM Rupam CHAKRABORTY. Submit. See, name వచ్చింది. Phone 88888. Submit. Phone వచ్చింది. 17 11 1984. Submit. See, I'm entering in the parent, but the child is displaying the data. You're clicking the button on the parent, the child is reacting. This type of movement of data from a parent to a child, a behavior passing from a parent to a child is called action overrides, also known as aura methods. Because all these are possible only with a method. Only with the aura method these are getting possible. Right? Guys able to understand? Yes or no? Yes, everyone? See, you're clicking the parent button, the child is reacting. You fill the data in the parent, the child is displaying. The child is displaying. This is how it's working, right? In the child, we have an attribute. That attribute is being displayed. In the child, we declared an aura method. Inside the aura method, there are some attributes. This child is called inside a parent with an aura ID. In the parent, as normal component, we are declaring attribute. We are capturing the data, storing in that attribute. We click submit. A function is called. In the function, we capture the data. We call the child by using component.find and then child name dot method name, and we pass the attribute. As simple as that. Whenever you call this method, immediately this action call me is called. What is that call me? The work of the call me is to read the data from the argument. Then one by one, we are segregating the data with the method attribute. And later, we are passing it to the component attribute. The attribute that we declared in the component, which is displaying the data. Over.
సార్ ఆరో మెథడ్ లో మనం హౌ మెనీ ఆర్గ్యుమెంట్స్ అనేది ఇన్పుట్ ఆర్గ్యుమెంట్స్ అనేది
Only
డిఫైన్
one.
చేయట్లేదు కదా.
You
Only
cannot.
one.
You can define n number of attributes, and all those will be stored in one variable called arguments. Arguments nunchi, from the argument you have to segregate the data like this. Data has to be separated like this.
Okay, so from parent, when I call the aura method of the child, how many attributes I need to send? అది ఎలా తెలుసు సార్? ఎవ్రీ టైం మనం కంట్రోలర్ కి వెళ్ళి how many are
You have to come
defined?
to the child and you have to see, no, in the method how many. Obvious,
So,
in a class
okay.
also, when you write a class and method, right, from wherever you're calling the class, and the class contain an instance variable, you have to go and see how many instance variable are there.
Okay.
As simple as that. Otherwise, it will give an error. If the instance are 3 variable and you pass 2, system will give an error. In Apex also same thing. Any other questions? Everyone clear with the concept? Because I'm going to use it now in the next. Everybody clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now write a homework first. Homework. Homework. I'm drawing it. First, I will give a generic homework. Right? Homework on action override. Okay? Perfect. A1. Next, C1. C11. C111. Right? HDFC Bank, EMI is an FD, fixed deposit form. Right? Amount to invest. Right? Term. Next, rate of interest. Right? And then there's a submit button here. 2 buttons we'll have, submit and cancel. submit or calculate. First button is calculate. Second button is clear. Here you should be able to enter the data, amount to invest, term, and the rate of interest. There we go. Now, immediately, for example, somebody comes and fills the data. Let's assume that somebody came and filled the data. Yeah. Amount, I want to invest 2 lakhs. Term, for 2 years. Interest, 6.75. As soon as he clicks calculate, now the data has to be displayed here. Amount, entered. Term, rate of interest, right? Rate of interest, maturity amount or interest, um, interest accumulated. Oh man, gone. Yeah. Shit. Okay. Anyhow, let me start writing. Right, amount, right? Next, term, next, rate of interest, next, accumulated interest, next, maturity amount, right? And there is a button, apply, apply. Whenever you click apply, immediately a form should come. Name, phone, amount, right? Here we go. Right? The amount field I'm not able to locate, but I'm placing it here. And here you should have submit, another button, submit. Now, what is the behavior? Whenever you click calculate, immediately the data should be shown here. 2 lakhs, 2 years, rate of interest is 6.75. This is what you entered the data in the parent. It should go to the child. And then the child should calculate the rate of interest, right? CALC. What is the formula? PTR by 100. I'm giving a simple task. PTR by 100. 1, 2, 3, 4. 20,000 I gave, no? Okay, 20,000. 20,000. P into T2 into R 6.75 divide by 100 equals to 2,700. 2700, right? Total maturity amount 22,700. These two calculations, see, data is coming from the parent. In addition to that, the child is performing some calculation, it's displaying. Next, again you apply button. Immediately, the amount should come here automatically. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 20,000. Right? Like this term should be auto-filled in the white component. The applicant will just enter the name, Rupam. These two fields has to be entered. Phone number 888. But remaining field, right? The remaining field, this two field will enter. The remaining field amount, because my place is not sufficient, term, rate of interest, this should come from the yellow. From blue, it should go to yellow. From yellow, it should go to white. This is what the homework is. If you want to do the event, do it and show me. You cannot do the event like this. Because if you take a component event, it will not work. If the event is declared in C1 blue, then A1 will receive. So you cannot take component event. If you take application event here, when you click calculate, first who will receive? The white, the lowest. But in my case, I don't want the white to receive first. I want yellow to receive first. So you can't even take application event. In this scenario, to achieve this, you have only one option, action override. Ardhamainda, implementation of it. Everybody got it? Understood? Yes. After you click submit, what should happen, Rupam? You can save in the database, or you can go ahead and you can display. Can you do this, or you want me to do this? Will you do it, or you want me to do it? Same thing what I used. It's simple. This is the requirement that I gave you, right? From parent to child, child to grandchild, right? The event is going step by step down. One level, then it is going second level. Two levels, it's going like this. You cannot use events. You have to use action override. Because if you use event, it'll go like this. From child, it'll go like this. If you use application event, which we don't want. We don't want this. This is not my requirement. So I can't use application event or a component event. Clear, guys? Clear with the homework before I go to the next concept? Yes or no?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. That's good. See, if you do these type of homeworks, then you'll understand why this concept is required. Right? What is the importance of, what is the implementation? Asal ekkada vaadtam? Whenever you are passing a behavior from a parent to an immediate child, and then after child to an immediate grandchild, then after immediate grandchild to great grandchild, it'll step by step, immediate, one by one. We call them as action override. Right? Chalo. Now, the next concept called interface. Next concept called interface. Let's understand this. interface. First, we'll understand, and then we will go and write the definition. Now, this is what you have. Oh, let it be. Now, these are the components we have. Anybody has any questions? Rajinder? Q? Right. Now you see that there are 3 applications available. How many? 3 different applications. These are the 3 different applications we have. In the first application, you have 2 components, C1, C2. In application 3 and application 4, there's one component. Application 2 and application 4 has one component, C3 and C4. Perfect. Right? Now, if you observe, right, all the applications almost have something common. Name, phone, email, name, phone, email, sometimes fax, sometimes city, but name, phone, email is common. Now, in the application 1, for this component, you have to declare how many attributes for C1? To capture these, how many attributes has to be declared? You have to declare
5.
5 attributes, right? You have to declare minimum 5 attributes. There's no other option. Here, how many attributes has to be declared? 5. Here, how many attributes has to be declared? 6. Here, how many attributes has to be declared? Right? 6. 5 plus 10, 6 plus 6, 12. Total 26 attributes has to be created. 26 attribute has to be created. Now, why 26 attribute? Why can't we take the common out? Why can't we store the common at certain information? Common. What are the common attributes? Name. What are the common attributes? Name, phone, email. Right? Let me see anywhere most is used. Most, email, city. All the common attributes are picked up and stored in a place called as interface. Interface. Then I can use this name, 1, 2, and city. I can take it directly from the interface. Name, phone, email, I can take it. Name, phone, email, city, I can take it from the interface. Name, phone, that's it. All these, I can take it up from here. I will take it up from here, from the interface. Now, how many attributes I have to create? Here I have to create only one. Here I have to create two. Here I have to create two. Here I have to create four. In the interface, I have to create how much? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Now you add 4 plus 1, 5. 5 plus 2, 7. 7 plus 2, 9. 9 plus 4, 13. Finally, you are creating how many attributes? 13 attributes. Against how many? 26. This is called interface. Whenever you want to share attributes over multiple application, multiple components, however, they will work individually. What does that mean, Rupam? Somebody comes and enter the data in the first component as Rupam. Don't think that the second component also will say Rupam, because see, the name you are taking from a common place. From here you're taking. The name is going from a common place. Name, because one attribute only you're using. Name is going from a common place. But however, they will be different. However, they'll be different. If you enter Rupam here, doesn't mean that in the second component, Rupam will display. You can have Ravi. The attributes will not conflict. You will have Prachi. You will have, right, SWATHI, Swati. See, even though it's coming from the same place, name coming from where? From one interface. But at a component level, they will work as individual. They will behave as individual. They will not conflict with each other. Even though it's the same attribute being used in 4 components belonging to 3 different applications. But you can have individual data as if it's like an individual component. Such type of sharing an attribute individually to a multiple applications and components are called as interfaces. Is called as interface. What is interface? It is nothing but sharing. Sharing of resource. Sharing of resource. That means in my project, if the name field is repeating 100 times, I will not declare the name field in 100 components. I will just declare an interface. And every component will call the interface. And in the interface, you can share 3 things. Number one, attribute. Number 2, event. Number 3, method. We just did. 3 things can be inherited. This is 3 things can be shared. Event, up, event, up, event, up. Anybody has any question? I saw that there's a mic being unmuted. Any questions, anyone? Okay. See, you can share. These are the 3 Salesforce concept can be shared with interface. Interface can share attribute, event, and method. What is an interface? Right? Write down. Put a heading called as interface. Put a heading called as interface. Start writing. Sharing of lightning resources. Sharing of lightning resources. Sharing of lightning resources across application and components. Sharing of lightning resources across application and components. Across application and components. Across application and components is called interfaces. Is called interface. Is called interface. Next line. With interface, with interface, with interface, three lightning resources can be shared. Number one, attribute. Three lightning resources can be shared. Number one, attribute. Number two, event. First one, attribute. Second one, event. Third one, method. Attribute, event, methods. Attribute, event, method. Next, write down properties of interface. Number one, properties of interface. Number one, first one, interface supports three lightning elements only. First property, interface supports three lightning elements only. Next, component or application must use implement keyword. Component or application must use implements S. Implements keyword. Component and attribute must use implements keyword. Next, element of interface act. Element of interface act. Next, element of interface acts individually. Elements of interface acts individually in component or application as independent. Acts individually in components or application. What I gave? Sorry, can you somebody repeat it? Elements of interface. What I gave? Element of interface
Elements
Acts
of interface individually in component or application.
as independent. Individually in component or application as independent. They are independent. Next. Next. Data sharing. Data sharing is not possible with interface. You enter Rupam in C1, you will not get Rupam in C2, C3, C4. No. Data sharing is not possible with interface. Data sharing is not possible with interface. Now, put a heading called as interface with attribute. Next subheading, we will see one by one. Interface with attribute. We'll see this. Interface with attribute. If time permits, we will see this also today. Interface with event. These two things we'll try to see today. First, interface with attribute. Let's see how to do this. File, close all. File, new, lightning interface. First time I'm creating something new. Lightning interface. Lightning interface. Here it is. We have seen lightning application. We have seen lightning component. We have seen lightning event. Now I'm creating lightning interface. Then the left will be lightning token. With this will complete lightning. Now I'm going to the lightning interface. I click on it. I will say LI, LA lightning application, LC lightning component, LE lightning event, LI lightning interface. Underscore today's date 2703 underscore example 2 underscore right int att attribute interface with attribute int att. I need this name. Copy this. I need this name. I open a notepad. I need this name. I'm opening a notepad and I paste the name here and I say submit. An interface is got created. Interface bundle consists of only one element called interface. What is the bundle of interface bundle consist of? Only one element called interface. The way application contains 7, component contains 8, event contains 1, interface contains 1. Aura interface. Description. This is my first interface to handle attribute. There we go. Already one attribute is created for you. Name. Name equals to emp name. Name. String. Default equals to Rupam. Rupam. Anybody who calls this component, use the name, emp name, they will get Rupam. But you cannot share. You cannot change this Rupam with Ravi and everybody will get. No. Default values. Okay, that's okay. I'll put it here also. Default Rupam. I'll copy the attribute. I will have certain attributes. I will not have this default awesome label. In fact, let's delete this and then copy. Attribute, I just need this too. EMP phone. EMP city. EMP date of birth. Date time, anything. Date. See, like this, I can declare a lot of attributes, and these are common attributes. EMP SAL, decimal. Perfect. See, I created an interface with 5 attributes: name, phone, city, date of birth, salary. This interface can now be used by any application, any component. File, new. I'll say lightning component. LC, example 2, interface attribute, I will say like C1. C1. I need this name. Anybody can use this interface, guys. First, I'm creating one component, submit. Whichever component wants to implement interface or use interface, they have to use a word called as implement. Implements. Implements equals to C colon. What is the name of the interface? See, without declaring attribute, you can directly use them now. Lightning card. LIGHTNING, lightning card. What is that? Title equals to employee details. Interface. employee details. Directly I will say, right? Employee name. Directly I will use exclamation v dot emp name. Did I declare in this component? Do you see anywhere I declare an attribute? No, but you can use them directly. Employee phone. Employee date of birth. Employee salary. I will go ahead. I can. It's not compulsory that you have to use every variable of the interface. City, we didn't took it. See, I didn't took city. I took date of birth. I can directly use them. Control S on the keyboard. It will not give error. I will have a button. Label equals to submit. On click. C dot submit. Whenever somebody clicks this button submit, where is the submit? I'm writing the controller submit. I will say component dot set. V dot attribute name emp name. Set with what? Set with Ravi. Set with what? Ravi. Whenever somebody click the button, automatically to the variable, to that attribute will pass this value. How many are there? Phone. Set with 88888. Next. Date of birth. Set with 26/01/2018. Set. System is saving. Let it save. Done. Component. Save. Done. Now I'll create one more component. New. Lightning component. C2. I'm creating C2. Same as per the diagram I'm trying to do. C1 and C2. C1, C2 are part of one application. Okay. We will create. There we go. There also I will use this. Control C. Control V. There I will not take date of birth. When somebody is calling, right, I'll say I can give the same name, no issues. Submit. Right. Here also I'm copying the controller itself. Control C. I come to the component 2. I click on component 2 controller. That's okay. Control A. Delete. Press. Right. Here, how many are there? Salary. We didn't set the salary, right? So let us set the salary also in the component 1. Salary. Salary. How much? 50,000. Control S. Component 2. I want only the name and phone. I go ahead. In the component 2, I set the name to Sham. Phone number to 999. Finally, the same attribute, guys. Here you see that v.emp name. There also v.emp name. I'm using the same attributes. I close the controller. This too belongs to an application. File, new, application. I will say C1 C2, C1, C2, both. It's LA. I say submit. I'm creating an application. I'll call both C1, C2. Lightning, layout, lightning layout, lightning, layout item. Size equals to 6. 6. Like this, 2 layout items are there. In the first, I'll call the first one C colon. In the second, I will call the second one Control S. What is that? No component.
Layout double out OUT. Same one, double
Which line?
out. Two line number 2.
Layout. Okay.
Lightning layout.
Layout. Lightning layout. Control S. Save. Done. Now let's see this first. Preview. Both the components within the application. Oh, SLDS. Right? SLDS. What is that? Extends. Force. SLDS. Update preview. See? Oh man. Come on. I need to give them paragraph tag after each one of them. P tag. Control C, Control V, Control V, Control V, Control S. Component 2, Control V, Control V, Control S. Come to the attribute, enter. There we go. Both the components loading with Rupam, Rupam. When I click submit, it will show a different set of data. Ravi. That Ravi is not coming here in Rupam. You see, it's not overwriting. Even though both employee name is coming from an interface, but they are working individually. Submit. Here we have a Sham. See, I didn't even declare attributes in my components. I'm directly using them. Here also I'm using EMP name. Here also I'm using EMP name. But data is not conflicting with each other. Data is not conflicting with each other. Here it's Ravi. Because even though it's coming from a same attribute, but they work individually. See, within the application, they're working individually. I create one more component. I'll call in application 2. File, new, lightning component. C3, C3, LC, LC, lightning component, C3. There also I copy from, let's say that I copy from here. Control C, everything I'm copying from here. Right, sub me, let me copy from here. Controller also I'm copying exactly same thing. Control C, close the controller, come to the C3 component, click on C3 component controller, right? Control A, Control V. Employee name, Prachi. Phone number, 777. Date of birth, 2016, 21. Employee, 75, 123. Control S. Come here, Control S. This I will call in a separate application. New application, LA. 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 Submit. It's an individual application, you can see. Separate application. Inside that, I'm calling component 3. LC. extends equals to force, SLDS. I click on preview. There are two separate applications, guys, here and here. I click on submit. Here the data is different. Here, everywhere I'm calling the name. One place Ravi, one place Sham, another place Prachi. See? But they all coming from only one interface. Everywhere I'm using EMP name. Here also I'm using EMP name. Here also I'm using EMP name. From where it's coming? From the interface. At the time of loading, it's Rupam in all the three. But later, it can be changed. If you change in one place, doesn't mean that it will change everywhere. No. This acts like an individual. See? Exactly what we just discussed. Sharing of resources. So you need not to create, if name field is used 100 times, you don't need to create 100 times. You just need to create one time in an interface and you can use it for 100 times. Everybody good with it? Everybody good with it? Yes. Everybody understood what is an interface with attribute?
Yes.
Anybody has any questions before I go to the interface with event? Before I go with interface with event, anybody like to understand or have any questions? It's a sharing of resources. You can share attribute, event, and method. I've just shown you. Rupam, in a single interface, can I share all the three? Yes. I am showing you individually so that you understand the things. But in one interface, you can even put the event also now. In the same interface, you can put event. Event also can be shared. Event and attribute, both can be shared together. Even attribute methods, all the three can be shared together in a single interface.
How many interfaces can a controller
You can create
implement?
n number. N number of interface can be created.
Uh,
With a comma, comma,
implements,
comma.
how
Yes.
implements, comma, comma. Okay.
Comma, comma, comma. You can.
Okay, thanks.
With a comma. You can implement n number of interface. Right? Perfect. Now let us see event. How to implement interface with event. Right? Next, I'm going with interface with event. To create an interface with event, let me close everything. First, I have to create an event. First, I have to create an event. Right? Or we should see interface with attribute method. Which one you want to see first? Because today we learned method. So would you like to go for interface with method as second? Is it okay? Because we just learned method, no? So it will be fresh,
Yes.
right?
Okay, sir.
So that will be continuation of the class then. Event anyhow, it's all done class, so we can take it in next class also. Let's go with interface with method now, right? So first step, what I have to do? I have to write, go ahead, file, new, interface. First I'm creating an interface. I will say li underscore today's date 2703 underscore example3 underscore int with method method interface method. I copy the interface name because I need it. Interface name. I say submit. One method is created. One interface is created. Remove the attribute because I don't want to share attribute now. I will say interface with method. Inside the interface, right? Inside the interface, I will create Aura method. Aura method. See, I will go ahead and I will say name equals to intmthd interface method. Action equals to exclamation c dot c dot c dot inv invok invoke me. See, this you declare inside a child. This actually you declared inside a child. A couple of minutes we did that. In the child you declare and the parent will call the method. Parent will call this method and immediately this invoke will be fired. Now inside this you can declare an attribute. Aura. This is method attribute. This is not an individual attribute. attribute attribute. Right? Aura attribute. Name equals to method name. Type equals to string. Type equals to string. Earlier we declared 3 attributes. Now I'm declaring 2 attributes. You can declare 4. emp phone, right? pho. Earlier we said emp. Now I'm saying m. Method phone string. Over. An interface with a method. Inside the interface now you have a method declared. A method. This we used to declare in the child, if you remember, and parent used to call. Child controlling parent. Now see, one interface. Once I create interface, right, any application can use it. Suppose I give you one more homework like this. One more homework like this. You don't need to create multiple interface. Both of them can now share the interface, right? Inside the interface, there's a method. Both this program, let's assume that these are 2 different programs. You don't need to create, separate interface for this. All these values, amount, term, rate of interest, you can declare in the method and you can put them inside the interface. Both these 2 applications will call the same interface. Control S, right? I created interface. Now I click on file, new, right, component. What is that? LC, example 3, interface method, child C. I'm creating a child component. In fact, I'll create C1. If time permits, we will do C, right? C1, child 1. We'll do C2 also to show you. C1, interface C1. This is a child. Child. This is the child. This is the child. In the child, I will display the data. I will display the data. In the child, I will display the data. Lightning, L-I-G-H-T-N-I-N-G, lightning. Cart, right? Title equals to child, child, comp, displ, display data from int interface method. Interface method. Display the data here. Interface method. Now, to display the name and phone, right, here I will create some attribute. I will say, right, I will say C phone C name. Remember that we declared an attribute and then we declared a method. Now the method is here in the interface. And here I will say implements. Implements. You have to give the name C colon. What is the interface name? I'm implementing the interface. Here I will say employ employee name, right, is equals to exclamation C dot C name. I copy this. Employee phone. What is that? C dot phone. After each one of them, paragraph tag.
V dot.
Yeah, V dot, right? All attributes V. V dot. Control S. What happened? Invalid attribute implements. IMP implement spelling. IMPLEMENTS. Is it correct? Right?
No, sir.
Yeah.
N. N.
N, sir.
MEN.
Uh, IMPLELLEMENTS. Control S. Perfect. See? Spelling mistake. Now, from where should I get? Directly, I will say, see, invoke me. I'm directly going to the controller. I'm writing invoke me. Control S. I'm directly writing invoke me. Invoke me. Here I will read the data from where? From the data that I received. Var params equals to, what is that? Event dot get param param. In the bracket, you have to say argument. You cannot change this name, I told you. arguments. Then segregate. Var nm equals to params dot. Params dot. Where is the method? Here is the method. Mname. Params dot mname. Next, var ph. Ph. Params dot. In the interface, there is a, because the method is inside the interface. So here we go. Now pass it to the local variable of the component. component component dot set. Component dot set. Set what? V dot. C name. I'm setting with nm. One more. Setting the local C phone component phone with ph. Over. That is to read the params. Event dot get param argument. Now, who will control this? Parent will control it. File, new component. I copy the name. See, I'll say P1. Parent 1. There we go. In the parent 1, I will call the child C colon child. You have to use aura method. Aura, right? Whenever you want to call aura ID is equals to, I will say C1. As simple as that. You will enter the data here. So you want an attribute here also. Actually, we can put this attribute in the method so that we don't need to repeat twice. See, this is also repeating. Rupam, when this is repeating, right, I'll change it. Background will go away, don't worry. Right? So when these two attributes are repeating, why can't you put in the interface itself? Yeah, very good. So interface will have an attribute, interface will have a method. Just now we are seeing reusability of attributes. See, both the parent and child using the same attribute. Then why you have to repeat 2 plus 2 4 times? Why can't you?
Sir, your voice is breaking, sir.
Why can't you declare only in one time? We can do that. 2 plus 2. Rather than declaring, right, separate. Here also I'm declaring same thing. Here I'll say, right, so say attribute, right? CNAME. Here also, see attribute is there. Why can't you put them in the interface then directly? Interface can share attributes and methods. You can do twice at it together. But anyhow, first I'm doing locally. Now I'm creating a card. Lightning card. Label or title. Title equals to INTRF. Interface. What title I gave there? Child component display data interface method. So here we go. I'll copy it. I'll not say child, I'll say parent component. Not display. Enter data. Data, right? Enter data, pass to interface method. Inside this, I will say what I will call. I will say lightning. Input. Label equals to enter name. Whatever you enter, value equals to exclamation v dot cname. I copy this, enter phone. Cname. Then lightning button. Label. Submit. On click. Exclamation c dot submit. Control S. Copy submit. Go to the controller. Put it here. First step. Var nm equals to component dot get v dot. Whatever you enter here, it will be stored in cname. I'm getting it here. First get it. Control C. Control V. ph component dot get ph. Control S. Now pass it to the var chld child is equals to component dot find. Component dot find. Find what? Find. Whenever you say component dot find the our id, where is our id? C1. Now C1 dot call the method. Method name is int method. C1 dot and pass the parameters. First one nm, second one ph over. See, over. Now I will create interface. Sorry, I'll create an application. LA underscore C1 P1 child 1 P1. I'll click on submit. By the way, did I copy the name? If not, let me copy the name. Submit. Let me see. No, I didn't copy it. Fine then. C colon. It's P1. It's LC. Extend equals to force SLDS. Review. Same thing. What I did. Name Rupam. Phone number 88888. Submit. Error. Error C1 not defined. C1 is not defined. Let's see. Error. Let's check it out. Where did we commit the mistake? Control S on the keyboard. Did we save this interface? I don't know, because there was a star mark there, right? Now let me go ahead and refresh it. Name, Rupam. Submit. C1 not defined. In example 3 interface P1, C1 is not defined. In the parent, it's saying. In the parent, we didn't define C1. LC, right? Let me see. Example 3 interface method 1 aura ID. Aura ID equals to C1. Perfect. Let's go to the controller. Where child equals to component.find. Component.find C1. Right? C1, not C1. Child dot. What is this? Child dot. C1 is a child. Child dot method name. That is the reason it's giving an error. Enter. Name, Rupam. Submit. See, Rupam comes. Phone number, 888. Submit, 6666. I enter in the parent. It comes in the child. This time, the attribute, the method was declared inside a interface. Now, I will create one more separate application. Separate. Lightning component. I will say C2. It's a separate one, guys. CLC. C2 is a separate. Submit. There, right? Wait. Let me copy this. Control C. I'm pasting it here. I will say student name. Student name, student phone. I will say, right? Same thing. Child component, student, student, right? Student. Control S. Right? Controller. I will copy from the same C1 what I copied. I'll copy in the controller. There is no change in that. Control C. Close it. Okay. Right? I'm going to the C2. I go to the C2 controller. Control C. Control S. I close C2 controller. Now I will create, this is the child, new, right? Lightning component. I will say C2 parent. Next time creating, I want this name. Okay, anyhow, I'll take it later. No, I need this. Control C, Control V. I'm creating one more, right? Close the description here. Okay, let me save the name here. I'll copy from, right? Let me copy from, where is that? Right, by the way, so many are there. Let me see. Interface C1, P1. Let me copy the P1. Control C. Where you're copying? I'm copying here. I will say, right, enter student name. Enter student name. Enter student phone. Student phone. Right here, in the place of this, I will call the new one. Right. This was the C2. I call it. Now I go to the P1. I copy the P1 controller, which is calling Control C. Right. Close it. I come to the P2. I click on P2 controller. I remove P2. Right. Control S. Now I create a separate application. File, new application, LA, right? C2P, right? CP, child and parent, both separate application I'm creating. A separate application. In this, I will call C colon, right? The parent, extend equals to force, FORC, force, SLDS, Control S. I'll click on preview. Two separate applications. Here it says enter name, enter submit, data comes in. Here enter student name, Ravi. Phone number, Ravi, phone number 777, submit. See, Ravi 777. Here employee name, Ravi Rupam 666. Two different application using only one method. But a method conflict అవ్వట్లేదు. Both application 1, application 2. Application 1 is employee. Applications 2, student. Both this application is using same event. Here also parent and there is a child. Child component to display student. Child component to display employee. Both are using same interface. Now I can create one more application like this. Same. All the three will use one method only. One method only. In the method, this attribute. But you see that is not conflicting. Here, for this application, it is using the interface. In the interface, there are two attributes. And here it's showing Rupam and 666. But where it's showing Ravi 777. ఒకటే interface వాడుతున్నాం. But they are working as individual. As if రెండు interface ఉన్నాయి. It is behaving as if there are two interfaces. But actually there is one. I'll create one more application like this. Here, one more. 3. All the three will be connected to only one interface that we created. ఒకటే interface. See, this is what we created. Both the application is calling the same interface. That means in a project, if there is one interface, that's enough. If there is a one interface, that's enough. You don't need to, in whole project, one interface is enough. You don't need to create 10 interfaces. That means the homework that I gave you, this homework, first of all, how many interfaces are required? How many methods are required? One method is required here, and another method is two methods are required. Now, I want to use the same in one application itself. You require two methods. In such case, you can use interface. This homework can be done with interface. Like this, there are two applications. You will just create one interface. One interface here. This one will use one interface. Again, this one will use interface. Two interfaces required, but two methods are required. I'll create one interface for both. Within the application, right, I require two methods. Rather than creating two methods, I will create interface. I will put the method inside the interface, and all these three components will implement the same interface. Then they can use that method. Similarly, I have also ICICI. There also, I need to create a method. Why should I create another method? There also I require two methods. Total 4 methods are required to do this homework. Rather than creating 4 different methods, I can create one method. I can put them inside the interface. Both the application will call the interface. Total, there are 6 components. First, 3 in application 1, 3 in application 2. Right? All the 6 components will implement the interface. And they can use the interface as they want. అర్థమవుతుందా? Yes or no? Everyone. How to use reusability of a component. Reusability. Earlier we have seen reusability of attribute. Now I'm showing you reusability of aura method. Rather than creating methods in the child, we will now put the method inside the interface. Any application, any component, n number of application, n number of component can implement this now. N number of application and n number of component can implement this interface. Whichever component or application interface use the interface, they can use the Aura method. You can say I just showed you two different application using same Aura method through interface. Able to understand, guys? Yes or no? You need to see this video. You need to work by yourself. Yes. Able to understand?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. It's a sharing. Interface ante sharing ante. Sharing of what? Rather than creating 100 attributes, you can just create all the commons. 10 attributes are common. You can create those common attributes inside the interface. And then let 100 application, let 100 component uses those interface. They don't need to create attribute. They can directly use them because that is there in the interface. They are implementing the interface. Same way, method. If I need 20 methods, you don't need to create 20 methods. You can create one method and put them inside the interface. Anyone who needs the method will implement the interface. As they implement the interface, right? As they implement the interface, methods can be now used. They can use the method. Getting it? Right? So this is the use of interfaces and methods. Right? Interface with method, interface with attribute. Next class, we'll see how to go ahead and share. Next class, we will see how to go ahead and share, right? Event using interface. Today, we have seen how to share attributes with an interface, how to share method with an interface. Next class, we will see how to share event with an interface. Perfect, guys. Right? Now, do this homework today. You can do with interface or you can do without interface. I don't mind. If you do without interface, then you have to do, right? You have to create two methods. Right? If you do with interface, then you have to create only one method. So choice is yours. That's it for today. We'll stop here. Probably next week, right? Just to keep you updated, right? There could be some disturbance in the class, right? You will get a notification by email just to keep you updated, right? Next Saturday and Sunday, there is a chances that there couldn't be a class because it's my son's birthday, right? I'll be very open, and in our culture, we celebrate the fifth birthday, right? The way in Telugu and Telangana they celebrate the first birthday grand. So in our Bengali, we celebrate the fifth birthday in our culture. So my elder son would be crossing 5 years. So maybe that is what I'm. So if I plan to host the birthday, quite bigger, then in that case, I might not be able to take the class, right? So probably 99% you will not have it, right? You need to excuse me for a week.
2 days, sir. Saturday, Sunday.
Right, obviously, because if
Sir,
I want
advance
to
happy birthday from our side.
thank you, right? So, right, that's it, guys, from my end. If there is no class next week, then the class will be again on, 9th and 10th. In case if the class is not there on 3rd and 4th, sorry, 2nd and 3rd. just to keep you updated.
Sir, LWC classes when will be started?
LWC class will start from your lightning will come to an end on 9th and 10th, and LWC will start from 16th and 17th. 16th will start your LWC. So we need one more weekend for your completing of your lightning token, lightning out, right? Lightning token, lightning out, lightning to visual force, right? We need to complete certain things. So by next week, but next class, I'll not say next weekend, by next class, we'll complete lightning and then we will start LWC. Clear? Right? So that's it. Thank you. Have a nice and wonderful day. Bye-bye, guys. Take care.
Thank you, sir.